Now, we left off typing in our intergalactic piazza. And if you remember our initial one, we had a nice little effect. We had what we call a stroke, in fact, 2 strokes on this particular set of type. So how can we do that for this particular one? We've already done a type of effect on our flying saucer. See that? How we had a little glow effect around there? We had a nice little glow here. And we can tell that they're having effects on there because it literally says effects on here. See that? And we want to do something similar for our type. So how can we do that? So our type layer is selected. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down here to effects and we're going to do a stroke. So I click on that and you can see, wow, just like that, it has this really cool outline around it. That's what a stroke is in Photoshop language. Now, very similar to when we worked with our outer glow, we have additional options for that stroke. You will see here, I have the size and I have the color. So if I want to change the size of that stroke, I can easily do that for differing effects, right? See kind of a fun sort of bubbly effect, or maybe just you want to have a very simple, minimal little outline around it, okay? Now the other question is, where do you want it to be, right? What's the position of the stroke? Well, of course I want it on the outside, but guess what? You can kind of make it a little more thin where you kind of have it on the inside of the letters, or you have it somewhere in the middle. I'm going to put mine on the outside. I kind of like that because I still want to see some of the letters in there. Here, opacity, you can bring down that stroke so it's a little more see-through. I'm going to keep mine nice and solid. And I'm going to keep mine at this color, red. Beautiful. I love that. All right, now if I click OK, I'll be able to see that I now have this effect, and this time it's a stroke as opposed to the other one, which was an outer glow. So let's say I want to affect this yet more, because earlier we saw how this one actually has 2 strokes. Well, that's interesting. How do we do that? This is a relatively new feature inside of Photoshop. So if I double click back on the stroke, I want you to see how it takes me now over to all my different layer styles, including the stroke. What I'd like to do is add on an additional stroke, and that is available through this little plus sign. Really, really neat feature. So when I click on this little plus sign, it's like, oh, okay, you know what? You want to do one stroke and you want to do another stroke? Sure, great. So let me go ahead and just choose green, do a nice little dark green. Okay, I can see that there, maybe not so dark. Okay, it's done that, but then what happened to my red? What's going on here? So let's just see what happens if I make this a little bit bigger. Okay, it's good, but what about this one? Let's make this one bigger. Oh, I see. Okay, interesting. So they are playing with each other, but one just has to be bigger than the other, but it does allow me to have 2 strokes. Okay, so you can have a lot of fun with these. You'll also notice how you can do the same thing with a lot of these other layer styles by just adding on additional ones. So I encourage you to play around with additional ones, just adding on maybe some drop shadows, adding on some inner glow, some inner shadows, and then even going a step further and then adding on additional ones just the same. And then some of you, like I said in the earlier lesson, might be feeling a little ambitious to then try to even do a new style and then saving it so you can use it over and over and over again. So I will click OK and I will bask in the glory of this. And if you love this, go ahead and save this. Save it as a PSD, save it as a JPEG if you want to, save it as a PNG, save it as a TIFF, save it as a PDF if you like. We're done with this project and we'll move on to some other great stuff in just a moment. But please practice this up, make sure you got it, and look forward to seeing you in the next video.